Across London on 1458am and DAB, smart speaker, mobile app and LeicaRadio.com.
This is Leica Radio.
From the Sky News Centre at 9, the Port of Dover has still got queues of up to 10 hours as it continues to clear a backlog that ruined the start of many holidays yesterday. Just the sheer number of vehicles, including extra Easter bookings, has been blamed, as has the bad weather and delays in French border processes. Home Secretary Suella Braverman insists the situation is improving and she's urging people to be patient.
There's an acute level of pressure put on the ferry companies and the coach companies, a 35% increase in bookings. It's obviously always a busy time of year, but the government's in close contact with port authorities.
Meanwhile, the Home Secretary says countless children would have been better protected against gangs and sexual abuse if mandatory reporting was already in place. Suella Braverman's to make it a legal duty to flag up signs or suspicions of abuse. The rules would cover those who work with youngsters in England, including teachers and social workers. Police Scotland says there was no threat to the public last night, despite reports of suspicious activity near the First Minister's official residence. One man has been arrested. Sport, and we'll have the Formula 1 result in just a moment. But first, football, and Arsenal remain 8 points clear of Manchester City at the top of the Premier League. Both were 4-1 winners against Leeds and Liverpool, respectively. Roy Hodgson admits he was nervous about the reaction he'd get on his return as Crystal Palace boss, but they came from behind to beat Leicester 2-1 at Selhurst Park, and the fans give him a rapturous ovation after full time.
If it made my hair stand up at all, it was hairs that stood up in fright that I was going to let people down.
Red Bull's Max Verstappen's won a chaotic Australian Grand Prix. Britain's Lewis Hamilton finished second in his Mercedes, with Aston Martin's Fernando Alonso coming third. And a scheme launched to mark the late Queen Elizabeth's Platinum Jubilees planted more than 3 million trees. The initiative's ending with the King and Prince William placing one of the last. That's the latest. I'm Barry Weir.
At Boots Hearing Care, our expert audiologists make sure you never miss a moment. And now we're making those moments even more rewarding with £250 worth of advantage points when you buy a pair of hearing aids. Enough for a night out at the theatre, and who wouldn't like the sound of that? Book your free hearing check today at bootshearingcare.com. Over 18s in hearing care stores only. 12,500 points per hearing aid. Excludes Essentials range. Ends 30th of April. T's and C's apply.
Winner of Radio Station of the Year at the Asian Media Awards 2022.
Leica Radio, London.
Today's weather, sunny intervals and gentle breeze in London and surrounding areas. Top temperature 11 centigrade. Sunset is at 7:35 p.m.
Leica Radio. Leica Radio.
Flight updates are brought to you by TravelUp.com. Flights, hotels and holidays.
Let's go for a flight update. All flights are as scheduled, but please check with your flight operators before heading to the airport.
Flight updates were brought to you by TravelUp.com. Lowest prices are guaranteed only when you book directly through TravelUp.com. Call 0207 580 5000. Flight updates were brought to you by TravelUp.com. Lowest prices are guaranteed only when you book directly through TravelUp.com. Call 0207 580 5000. Talking Points with Keith Vaz, celebrating diversity. Leica, London. Leica Radio.
Good morning and welcome to the 154th edition of Talking Points on Leica Radio with me, Keith Vaz, on the 2nd of April 2023, the first Sunday of the month. I can't believe it's April already. Thank you, Priyanka, for a great show, and happy birthday this week to Rita Patel, and happy birthday today to Jasminder Singh. Let's go around the world to get the top news stories of the week. Hamza Yusuf has become the first Pakistani Muslim to be elected as the new leader of the Scottish National Party. He has taken over from Nicola Sturgeon, who resigned last Wednesday after 8 years in office. It was a historic day for Scotland. This means that Scotland, the United Kingdom, and Ireland have prime ministers who are all of South Asian heritage. I'm sure their parents and grandparents and the whole community is very proud of them. Rumours are still circulating in India about the whereabouts of the controversial self-styled Sikh preacher more than 13 days after he went on the run. A massive operation is underway to find Amritpal Singh, who is wanted in connection with a number of very serious offences. Reports say he has been last seen in 4 cities, including the capital city Delhi, since evading his arrest in Punjab state on the 18th of March. And Pope Francis's health is improving after he was taken to hospital with a respiratory condition. The Vatican has confirmed this. He was admitted to the Gemelli Hospital on Wednesday, where all the popes go when they're unwell, in Rome, and what is initially thought to have been a normal scheduled checkup. Who invented the doorbell? Joseph Henry, an eminent American scientist, invented electric doorbells in 1831. In spite of this, they did not become commonplace until 1913. I suppose people just knocked on their doors. Their introduction involved an electronic transformer into the household's electrical current instead of using expensive batteries. So doorbells are 192 years old this year. On the programme today, we're going over to Nottingham in the East Midlands and joining Veena Ladwa, a trained Kathak dancer and the founder of the Manushi Dance Company, shortlisted for the Asian Women's Achievement Award, the AWAA, in 2005. She founded the dance company in 1996, and the company trains dancers to a higher level to perform nationally and internationally. And from Nottingham, we're going to go down the M1 or the A6 to Leicester, to my second special guest on the programme, Rahana Sidat, the founder and chief executive of Jamila's Legacy CIC Mental Health Centre. She's a qualified and experienced manager, educator, and health and well-being professional. But before all that, let's have some music. Let's listen to Current Lagare by Ranveer and Deepika. Enjoy.
मस्ती में तू झूम जा ओ इस रात का है अपना मजा आ यार मस्ती में तू झूम जा बैठा है क्या सीटी बजा लुंगी पकड़ के जरा घूम जा
ये डांस तेरा देख देख झटके लगे तेज तेज दिल सबका धक धक करे
रंट लगा रे मैं नाचा तो सबको करंट लगा रे रंट लगा रे मैं नाचा तो सबको करंट लगा रे तुमका मेरा एक्सीलेंट लगा रे मैं नाचा तो सबको करंट लगा रे
Talking Points with Keith Vaz, celebrating diversity. Leica, London.
Welcome back. This is Keith Vaz on Talking Points on Leica Radio. I hope you enjoyed the music. Let's go dancing. Let's have a bit of Kathak dancing. Hear a bit of this. I hope that's got you in the mood. My special guest on the programme today is Veena Ladwa, a trained Kathak dancer and founder of the Manushi Dance Company. She was shortlisted for the Asian Women's Achievement Award, the AWAA, in 2005, and she founded the dance company in 1996. The company trains dancers to higher level of performance, both nationally and internationally. She's given numerous performances, lectures, demonstrations, and attended special events. Her dance workshops are taught with a storytelling aspect, using hands, hand gestures, eye movements with body shapes and footwork. Her workshops are conducted both virtually, so that's good for Leica listeners, and also in person. Let's go over to Nottingham in the East Midlands and talk to Veena Ladwa. Good morning, Veena Ladwa.
Good morning, Keith.
Now, when did this inspiration come to you? Because, you know, I think I'm a dancer when Saturday Night Fever comes on, or Natu Natu, which is my new favourite song. They come on, I do a little bit of a dance. When did you first decide to do this kind of very specialist classical dancing?
Classical dancing, of course, my Kathak journey started in my early 20s with Nimla Madevi. But before that, as a young child living back in Nairobi, Kenya, I was learning creative and Indian folk dances. So, of course, this all started in a Bollywood sort of way. I am a big fan of Bollywood dancing, but Kathak became my main journey.
Do you think that Bollywood has hijacked Kathak dancing? Because obviously the Bollywood dancing is much, much more aggressive. The music is much stronger. Whereas when you associate Kathak dancer, it's very sensual, if I may say that, very carefully put together and relies heavily on instruments, doesn't it?
It does. I don't think it's hijacked in that way. But I believe, of course, Indian classical dance came first. Of course, Kathak is 2,000 years old, which started in Hindu temples. Devdasis used to dance, offering to deities this dance form. But I think Bollywood, of course, came much later. They used the same mudras, hand gestures, facial expressions, everything, but used more of a hip movement. And of course, today's Bollywood is completely different to what you used to.
Do you think that the different styles of India are known to people who live in Nottingham or Leicester? Because each particular region has a different dance style, doesn't it? For example, in Goa, if you attend a Goan musical classical event, it's quite different from if you're in Ahmedabad or if you're in Jalandhar.
Absolutely. All classical forms of dance in India, there are of course 7, now known as 8. Yakshagana also came in. Kathak, Bharatnatyam, Odissi, Manipuri, Mohiniyattam, Kuchipudi, Kathakali. All these styles of dances are done in a different part of India, but one thing in common is that they all kind of tell a story. Most came from Hindu temples, and of course we all follow Natya Sastra, which was written by Bharat Muni, and so the styles are different, but the form is much more similar.
We're going to take a short break. This is Keith Vaz on Leica Radio. I am having a very interesting conversation. Veena hasn't yet got me off my chair dancing as yet, but maybe by the end she's going to teach us a few of the most important steps of Kathak dancing. Join us after the break.
से ताल मिला ताल मिला सावन ने आज तो मुझको भिगो दिया हाय मेरी लाज ने मुझको डुबो दिया सावन ने आज तो मुझको भिगो दिया हाय मेरी लाज ने मुझको डुबो दिया ऐसी लगी झड़ी सोचूं मैं ये खड़ी कुछ मैंने खो दिया क्या मैंने खो दिया चुप क्यों है बोल तू संग मेरे डोल तू मेरी चाल से जाल मिला ताल से ताल मिला ताल से ताल मिला
माना अनजान है तू मेरे वास्ते माना अनजान हूँ मैं तेरे वास्ते माना अनजान है तू मेरे वास्ते माना अनजान हूँ मैं तेरे वास्ते मैं तुझको जान लूं तू मुझको जान ले आ दिल के पास आ इस दिल के रास्ते जो तेरा हाल है वो मेरा हाल है इस हाल से हाल मिला ताल से ताल मिला ओ ताल से ताल मिला
दिल ये बेचैन वे रास्ते पे नैन वे जिंदगी बेहाल है सुलह ना ताल है आजा सावरिया ताल से ताल मिला ताल से ताल मिला
Haldiram brings you the most loved Indian sweets which are freshly made in UK. Now order your favorite Haldiram products online only on haldiramuk.com. Also available at your local Asian store at super special prices.
You know it's iftar when?
So on Monday we've got Naveed and Yasmin over. On Tuesday Anam is over. On Wednesday it's the grandparents. On
We're with you this Ramadan with exclusive deals like 10 kilo trophy green basmati rice for £12.50 and Indus Atta medium flour for £6.50. Morrison's. Selected stores and online. Subject to availability. Indus flour was $7.99. Off rents 26th of April.
Leica Mobile is offering 50% discount on National Plus bundle. Get 20 gigabytes of data, unlimited UK minutes and texts, and 100 international minutes to call India, USA, Canada, and many more Asian and EU countries. EU roam included for just £5 a month. Half price sale is on. Buy yours today. Please visit leicamobile.co.uk for this limited time offer for new customers only. T's and C's apply. Leica Mobile.
साले हथकड़ी खुली नहीं और शुरू हो गई रंगबाजी हाँ
Ajay Devgan Films presents Bhola, the upcoming action thriller starring Ajay Devgan and Tabu.
शक्ल देखकर चार्जशीट बनाने लग गई है आजकल पुलिस
Bhola, releasing March the 30th in cinemas near you.
ये जो वर्दी की हनक दिखा रहे हैं ना साले निकालते हैं इनकी सनक
Ramadan Mubarak! Celebrate this Ramadan with Scoop-Herb Ramadan Special Natural Ice Cream. Enjoy baklava, date and almond ice cream with traditional rose faluda. Visit Scoop-Herb in Alberton, Wembley, Basingstoke, Hounslow, Rayners Lane, Southampton, Watford and very soon in Croydon. Or enjoy Scoop-Herb Ramadan Special at home by ordering on all popular food delivery apps.
एक मसालेदार चाय के बारे में सोचते ही बस एक ही नाम याद आए, यूनिक मसाला चाय। इस सर्दी मजा लीजिए यूनिक चाय के अलग अलग मसाले फ्लेवर्स का। सिर्फ गर्म पानी लो और यूनिक चाय के साथ घोल लो। सिर्फ कुछ ही मिनट्स में सबकी फेवरेट यूनिक मसाला चाय तैयार।
मेरे पापा को गुलाब जामुन बहुत पसंद है।
Order online at pujasweets.com. From barfi, laddus, gulab jamun to samosa and gathia. From catering starters to dessert, Pooja Sweets and Savories. Abhi call kijiye 0208 672 4523 par.
Ramadan Mubarak from Pooja Sweets.
Asda's Together for Ramadan campaign presents Thought of the Day.
Happiness is multiplied when you share.
Thought of the Day brought to you by Asda's Together for Ramadan campaign. Participating brands The Mocktail Company, Pimlico Fizzy Fruit Punch and Indus Biryani Masala. Visit togetherforramadan.co.uk.
The personalities that matter with Keith Vaz on Talking Points.
Leica Radio.
Welcome back. This is Keith Vaz on Talking Points on Leica Radio. I'm having a little bit of a discussion on dancing. We've not yet started to dance with Veena Ladwa, something of an expert in Indian classical dancing. Now, Veena, you established in 1996 with a colleague the Manushi Dance Company, and you have been the artistic director there. Why did you feel the need to start an enterprise like this?
Because I think we needed to attract a lot of funding, and the only way we could have done that is by getting a company with constitution written and rules, bank funding that would go in with the name of a company. Then we were on our way putting programs together, and that was the reason why we started the Manushi Company.
And do you find that parents, even of a new generation to yourself and myself, feel that it's good for their kids to know a bit about Indian culture and will send their children and young people to attend the Manushi Dance Company? Do you think that there is that push, or do you think naturally people think, oh, I want to do dance? Because I was always encouraging my daughter Anjali, whose birthday it is on Tuesday next week, to go and do some Indian classical dancing. You either want to do it or you don't, do you? Do you think parental pressure plays a part in this?
Yes, I think parental pressure does play part in this at the early stage. Children don't have choices, but if they have choices that they really love it, they will go all the way. Those children who find it very hard, because it is hard to get into any classical form. It might be boring at first, but I think if you get in, then yes, children do love it. I actually make it a family managed means humanity. It's not a company where we're producing dancers or whatever. It's a family of dancers. So we kind of have a unique bond, I believe. Two strands, I would say, in Kathak Manushi Dance Company, where one is just putting them through ISTD certificate level before, getting their Imperial Society of Teachers dance certificate. Second, going into schools, delivering multicultural education. And third, we have an Age UK group, so they're all age groups. So my there is no sort of limit what age. I would say 4 5-year-old to 70 80-year-old. I have all different grades.
Amazing. One of the things I think I feel sorry about is the fact that at a local level we haven't established those dance centres. You operate from your house. You built a studio in your house. Other people who've got a passion for this kind of thing have done the same thing. We don't have, I mean, I'm not asking for a Kennedy Centre of the Performing Arts in Leicester or Nottingham, but it's a pity, isn't it? Apart from the Bhavan in central London, we don't really have these art centres where arts and dance are celebrated. And I think that's probably one of the failures of our generation. We've done a lot of good things, if I may say so, but one of the things we haven't done is kept culture going other than through religion.
Yeah, I also think, of course, money plays a big part in this. Getting centres would, of course, need a lot of funding, but nevertheless, my classes that run from home, I have a fairly big studio which works okay. I won't be able to take lots and lots of students in one go, but for that I have a great support of a few organisations in Nottingham, Lakeside Arts, even New Arts Exchange, and a few other places where I can actually hire them out. I have done lots of plays and I needed quite a big spaces for this sort of thing. So for that I have, help from Nottingham, different organisations. But otherwise, yes, we don't have Bhavan or even Kala Sangam like they have their own. But again, it's a lot of money to put this together.
Final question. I'm going to take you out of your genre of Indian classical dancing and ask you to look at other dancers and find me someone who you look at on television or in film and think, my goodness, they dance well. Someone who we would know. Obviously, we don't know the classical greats because you're the expert, but is there someone you always look at? It could be Beyonce, it could be, Justin Bieber, but is there someone, or Michael Jackson even, you think, oh my goodness, I would love to have him or her in a classical piece?
Yeah, Madhuri Dixit, of course. She's a great, great, great Kathak dancer. She is my ideal. Whenever I look at her, and she's done so many brilliant, brilliant performances with Birju Maharaj, if you look at,
Veena Ladwa, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for joining us today. We always ask our special guests to choose a song that means something special to them and to dedicate it to someone special on this 2nd of April morning. Which song would you like to choose and to whom would you like to dedicate it?
I would like to choose Mohi Rang Do Lal from Bajira Masani and dedicated to all my Manushi dance company.
Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great Sunday.
And thank you very much, Keith, for having me on the programme today, and best wishes to all listeners like a radio.
Let's hear Veena Ladwa's song.
मोही मोहे रंग डोला
Keith Vaz on Talking Points. Leica. Time checks are brought to you by TravelUp.com. Our lowest prices are guaranteed only when you book directly through TravelUp.com or call 0207 580 5000.
Leica Radio.
Traffic and travel.
I'm Michael Page. In West London, it's still looking busy on the M4 Heathrow spur heading into the airport, but it is looking a little bit better than it did earlier on. And in East London at Poplar, the Blackwall Tunnel southbound remains closed until tomorrow morning for weekend works. It's looking busy on the northbound approach to the Blackwall Tunnel coming from the Woolwich flyover in Greenwich. On the trains, Great Western and Heathrow Express services have delays into and out of Paddington because of earlier overrunning engineering works. There are also severe delays for the Elizabeth line from Paddington to both Maidenhead and Heathrow Airport, and between Maidenhead and Reading there's no service on the Elizabeth line until 5 o'clock this afternoon. And that's the latest traffic and travel.
The following are assembly instructions for a day trip at IKEA this Easter. Take 8 plump meatballs at least, and one bed that doubles as a bouncy castle. Add free 45 minutes room planning sessions, as many activities for kids as possible, and add 1 extra slice of dime cake. Combine all together and you have the perfect day out at IKEA. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
This is Leica Radio.
सस्ती से सस्ती फ्लाइट्स और हॉलिडे पैकेज चाहिए तो 24 घंटे 7 दिन किसी भी समय ट्रैवल हब का नंबर मिलाइए फॉर क्रूज टेलर मेड हॉलिडे होटल बुकिंग्स एंड हनीमून पैकेजेस हमसे सस्ता कहीं नहीं मिल सकता कॉल ट्रैवल हब 24/7 on 0208-782-8833 or visit travelhubltd.co.uk.
Travel Hub, best service with unbeatable price.
At all protected.
Visit travelhubltd.co.uk.
Hira Foods, bringing you authentic Eastern flavors with a huge selection of products including spices, grains, lentils, rice, flours, pickles, sauces, nuts, and ready-to-eat meals. Hira Foods, king in quality, king in taste.
Asda's Together for Ramadan is a campaign offering every customer a chance to make a significant difference by purchasing from participating brands, which will then contribute to the small donation in Ramadan. Visit togetherforramadan.co.uk.
Haldiram brings you the most loved Indian sweets which are freshly made in UK. Now order your favorite Haldiram products online only on haldiramuk.com. Also available at your local Asian store at super special prices.
Anuj Chopra Foundation proudly presents एक सुरीली मुलाकात कमल खान के साथ. The 2010 Saregama singing superstar winner and Zee Cine Award winner for his song Ishq Sufiana. On Friday, 2nd June at the Queen's Theatre, Billet Lane, Hornchurch. Tickets from £25. Call the box office on 01708 443333 or visit queens-theatre.co.uk. Show sponsor Urban Interior. Show hosted by me, your very own Anisa Nasir. Show powered by Leica Radio.
बिना चांद के आसमान कैसा लगेगा?
बिल्कुल अधूरा.
बिना शीरी के फरहाद?
अकेली.
बिना लबाबदार बिरयानी के ईद?
तौबा तौबा.
तभी तो कहती हूँ कि कुछ जोड़ियाँ बेजोड़ होती हैं, जैसे कि लंबे और नफीस ग्रेन्स वाला टिल्डा ग्रैंड एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस और बिरयानी.
अब समझ आया बिरयानी को बेहतरीन बनाता है कौन. Elevate your biryani with Tilda Grand Extra Long Basmati Rice. Ramadan Mubarak from Tilda.
मग़फ़िरत का है अशरा या रहीम या करीम कबूल कर ले तौबा या रहीम या करीम लाइका रेडियो और लाइका गोल्ड की ख़ुसूसी माह रमज़ान की नशरियात वक्त सहर और वक्त इफ्तार और पांचों वक्त की अज़ानों के साथ आपका मेज़बान रॉकी खान। इस ट्रांसमिशन को आप तक पहुंचाने में हमारा साथ दे रहे हैं तारिक हलाल वाले, जो अपनी 25 ब्रांचेस के हमरा सेंसब्रिज की 350 ब्रांचेस से ज़ायद पर फ्रेश हलाल मीट मुहैया कर रहे हैं। मज़ीद मालूमात के लिए उनकी वेबसाइट tarikhalal.com को विजिट कीजिए।
Welcome back. This is Keith Vaz on Talking Points on Leica Radio. I hope you enjoyed the music. My second special guest today on the program is Rahana Sadat, a founder and chief executive of Jamila's Legacy, CIC Mental Health Centre. She's a qualified and experienced manager, educator and well-being professional. She's got more than 25 years of experience working with minority communities and vulnerable groups. She's also the co-founder of Ansar, a charity for adults with learning difficulties and family carers. In 2019, Rahana returned to academics to enhance her knowledge in the field of cognitive behaviour. Let's go over to Leicester and join Rahana Sadat. Good morning, Rahana.
Good morning, Keith.
Tell us why Jamila's Legacy was established.
So, as you said before, I've been working in the community a long time. It kind of shows my age, Keith. But anyway, in that time, mental health was one of the things that was quite prevalent with the people I was working with, whether that were family carers, disabled people, people experiencing poverty, unemployment, lots of different struggles, domestic abuse. Mental health was quite prevalent, and rightfully, because obviously it increases the risk of people developing mental health problems when you're going through a lot of challenges. So during that period of time, I came across Jamila's family, and they contacted me to say, we haven't got any interpreter, can you come and help us? Jamila's really ill in hospital. Sadly, Jamila passed away, and we basically weren't able to give her the support she needed in time. So I vowed in her memory that I would create something to help more people like her get the help they need, hopefully in time, and address some of that stigma that exists out there.
You've got a passion for mental health and well-being for a very long time before the Jamila's Legacy was established. When did that begin? Because it's in a sense, it's a Cinderella service, isn't it, as far as the NHS is concerned? It requires a lot of voluntary groups to be involved. How did you start your interest in this area?
Oh my goodness, it goes back a long time, to be honest with you. You know, even things like reading about Florence Nightingale, all of those things had an impact. And then I was one of these people that didn't finish her education first time round, and I got married at the age of 18, and I was looking for work, and the kind of opportunities that appealed to me were in healthcare. So I started working in a care home, a special needs school, and that kind of spiked my interest that, oh, these are things I'm good at and I can make a difference and I can help people. And that's kind of how I started my care journey, and also my experience of actually accessing services. I had support from a social worker as a young person. I had quite a few challenges of my own, and I saw the benefits of that and the help that she was able to give me, which helped me kind of, you know, get to where I am today, really. And so I owe it to her as well. So tribute to Madeleine Moore.
Why is it, do you think, that the Asian community in particular have been so reluctant to talk about mental health issues?
We know that mental health stigma still exists. I know that it's become a bit more, you know, acceptable to talk about mental health, especially in terms of the West, and, you know, we've got representation in the media, etc. You're talking about it. It's fantastic. But we still have a long way to go. And then when we talk about ethnic minority communities, such as the South Asian community, there are additional cultural barriers. There are a lot more challenges because there is the lack of education. People don't know about mental health and mental illness. And then there is a shame attached to that because of that stigma. So even a recent report case by Mind in Leeds found that, and that was only in 2021, found that there is still stigma, shame and guilt and embarrassment amongst men and women from ethnic minority communities. And the research was around South Asians. And the family pressures and the lack of accessible information were also listed as barriers of why people are not accessing help.
This is Keith Vaz on Leica Radio. I'm having a very interesting conversation with Rahana Sadat, the founder of Jamila's Legacy, about mental health issues, and in particular about how the stigma still remains in the community and how we can get rid of that stigma. We're going to take a short break. Join us in a few moments.
जैसे आसमां बिना चांद अधूरा तेरे बिना तो हाल है ऐसा जैसे आसमां बिना चांद अधूरा रूह में शामिल तू हो जाए होगा बस तब ही साथ ये पूरा रूह में शामिल तू हो जाए होगा बस तब ही साथ ये पूरा
तेरे इश्क में मशहूर हो गए तेरे बाजों में हम चोर हो गए
मेरी सुबह में मेरी शामों में तेरा चेहरा मेरी धूप में मेरी छाँव में तेरा चेहरा तू ही मेरा जहां तू ही रब तू ही दुआ तू ही लब तू ही जुबान तू ही राह तू ही मकान तू रहनुमा
तू ही रब तू ही दुआ तू ही लब तू ही जुबान तू ही राह तू ही मकान तू रहनुमा
अपने दिल में झांक के देखो आएगा नजर तुम्हें प्यार हमारा अपने दिल में झांक के देखो आएगा नजर तुम्हें प्यार हमारा आलम न पूछो मेरी तड़प का एक पल न होगा अब तुम बिन गुजारा आलम न पूछो मेरी तड़प का एक पल न होगा अब तुम बिन गुजारा
तेरे इश्क में मशहूर हो गए तेरे बाजों में हम चोर हो गए
मेरी बाहों में मेरी राहों में तेरा चेहरा मेरी आहों में मेरी पनाहों में तेरा चेहरा तू ही है तू ही मेरा जहां तू ही रब तू ही दुआ तू ही लब तू ही जुबान तू ही राह तू ही मकान तू रहनुमा तू ही रब तू ही दुआ तू ही लब तू ही जुबान तू ही राह तू ही मकान तू रहनुमा
तू ही रब तू ही दुआ तू ही लब तू ही जुबान तू ही राह तू ही मकान तू रहनुमा
Keith Vaz on Talking Points. Leica.
Fees. The F word in travel. With an HSBC Global Money account, you can drop fees from Acapulco to Zurich. That means no fees here. Bonjour. No fees here. Howdy. And definitely no fees here. Pay no HSBC fees overseas with a Global Money account.
HSBC UK, opening up a world of opportunity. Available to HSBC UK customers with an eligible current account. Exclude some accounts such as the HSBC Basic Bank account. For mobile banking app users only. Non-HSBC fees may apply.
MantraHolidays.co.uk presents 2023 Travel Destination Catalogue. Paris from only £249. Switzerland from only £555. With great Indian food and Schengen visa services available. Call 020 3773 6333. That's 020 3773 6333. MantraHolidays.co.uk.
Hira Foods, bringing you authentic Eastern flavors with a huge selection of products including spices, grains, lentils, rice, flours, pickles, sauces, nuts, and ready-to-eat meals. Hira Foods, king in quality, king in taste.
Oh my goodness, it's me, Mrs. Kapoor, and I'm so excited. It's my daughter's wedding.
Mrs. Kapoor's daughter's wedding to Mauritius on Saturday the 1st and Sunday the 2nd of April. Fasten your seatbelts for a fun-filled journey as AK Productions and the Kapoors are back for their second daughter's wedding. Don't delay. Grab those first-class seats quick and join us for the destination wedding of the year.
क्वालिटी फूड्स की स्पेशल रमजान ऑफर। रमजान के मुबारक महीने में 20 kg टिल्डा प्योर बासमती खरीदने पर 700 ग्राम आलमंड्स बिल्कुल फ्री। ये ऑफर स्टॉक रहने तक है, सो जल्दी कीजिए, तशरीफ लाइए। क्वालिटी फूड्स और टिल्डा की तरफ से आप सबको रमजान मुबारक।
हो जी दिल्ली अमृतसर
या यूरोप के अंदर
ट्रैवल करेंगे मस्त कलंदर,
लाहौर या पेशावर
या दुबई घुमाकर,
फोटो खिंचाकर या रीले बनाकर।
अच्छा तो लगता है,
वो तो है, पर आजकल कन्वीनियंटली एयर टिकट कहाँ मिलता है?
मिलता है ना। मान ट्रैवल, टाइम इज फ्लाइंग, लेट्स फ्लाई टू। जस्ट कॉल 0208 099 9900।
हर ट्रिप में आपका मान रखेंगे।
मान ट्रैवल।
बनाए अपनी इफ्तारी को खास जैमीन फूड्स द एथनिक टेस्ट ऑफ इंडिया के साथ ऑथेंटिक इंडियन स्नैक्स की बेशुमार वैरायटी, खाकरा, चिक्कीज, सोन पापड़ी, रोस्टेड चना, पिकल, पापड़ और बहुत कुछ।
अवेलेबल एट क्वालिटी फूड्स नियर यू। जैमिन फूड्स की जानिब से सभी को रमजान मुबारक।
Talking Points with Keith Vaz, celebrating diversity. Leica, London.
Welcome back. I am talking to Rihanna Sadat here on Talking Points on Leica Radio, the first Sunday of April. I can't believe it's April already. Rihanna Sadat, Jamella's legacy obviously has the name Jamella. What is her particular story? What was the story about this young girl?
Well, Jamila was 35 years old when she passed away. She had severe mental health problems. She lived in the heart of a South Asian community. She was known by everyone. Most people knew her, but would not engage with her. It was very much around the fact that she spoke to herself. They basically treated her as if this was the mad girl, the crazy girl, and wouldn't even, just ignored her. She tried to speak to people, but people wouldn't engage with her. So she had a terrible experience. She developed postnatal depression after her second child. Her husband did not understand her mental illness and basically ended the marriage, and she was not allowed access to her children. So she lived on her own, and her own family did not understand her either. So she basically became really isolated. She had no mental health support intervention when she passed away. She didn't even have a GP. And she didn't die because she took her own life. She died because of neglect. She was so unwell to take care of herself, and there was no support in place. And when she passed, and when they went to her home, her house was in disarray, and there was very little food in her house, and the food that was there was mouldy. And that really devastated me, because I obviously came into her life at the end of her life, which was a shame. Although I'm not ultimately responsible, as somebody who worked in the community, I did feel responsible, and I felt this shouldn't have happened and we should do something.
Do you think that the NHS at the moment is doing enough for people with mental health issues and concerns? I've had anecdotal evidence of people who say they have to wait for up to a year to access professional help. Obviously, Jamila's legacy is one of the examples of community organisations that can intervene, but clearly you can't do everything. I mean, you don't have a hospital where people can go and stay. You're not the Priory, are you?
No.
So what can people do when they are faced with this very long wait to get that kind of help and treatment? Because quite a lot of the population do suffer from depression at some stage in their lives. It's difficult to find out how you get depression, how you get out of it. So what's the pathway for people listening to this program who really need some help but can't find it?
I think you make a really good point about people waiting. And obviously the current system is not set up to meet the demand. And since the pandemic and the current cost of living crisis, the demand for mental health support and services has increased greatly. And whether that's amongst our young people or other ages, adults. And you're right about the 12-month waiting list. Some people are even waiting longer, even up to 2 years. And the problem is, in that time, the deterioration of somebody's mental health. and the risks involved there. And this is my concern. So the support that somebody can get out there will differ depending on what city you're in, what borough you're in. One of the suggestions I have for your listeners is that you go on your local authority borough website and type in mental health and see what comes up. And they should have a list of local organisations that should be able to help you. So the voluntary sector organisations are there. There should be some sort of a 24-hour helpline from the NHS. We have one in Leicester that you can access. In Leicester, we have crisis cafes, which are funded by the local authority and the NHS. And these are services that help you in the interim. They're not going to help you in terms of addressing or treating your problem, but they can help you whilst you're waiting. So I think there are a lot of services. The voluntary sector has a huge part to play, like our organisation. We're just a tiny organisation, but we are able to help as many as we possibly can. And I think the answer is in that collaboration and partnership. And to be honest, Keith, I believe we are in a mental health crisis. And it's not just depression, it's everything across the spectrum. And we need to educate people because I believe in prevention and early intervention. And I think that is the way forward.
Absolutely true. It may well be the case, Rahana, that people are actually turning to TikTok more than they're turning to public bodies because, you know, they give you advice as to how you can improve your life. But if you look for a professional, there is no professional there to help you. But what you're doing is something that we are extremely grateful for. On behalf of all the listeners of Leica Radio, I want to thank you and Jamila's Legacy for the work that you do in this very important area. It's been a pleasure talking to you. We always ask our special guests to choose a song that means something special to them and to dedicate it to someone special. Which song would you like to choose and to whom would you like to dedicate it to?
Keith, so this song is Tujh Mein Rab Dikhta Hai, and I like it when Shreya sings it, and I dedicate it to my husband because I am so blessed with the most wonderful partner that I've been married to for now 35 years. When I look at him, I see only goodness and godliness because he gives selflessly and supports me unconditionally with all that I do.
Rahana Sadat, thank you for joining us. Have a great Sunday.
Thank you so much, Keith, and wishing you and your listeners a lovely Sunday.
Let's hear Rahana Sadat's
Tilda Ka Zabardast Gana is brought to you by Tilda. On this Ramadan, elevate your biryani with Tilda Grand Extra Long Basmati. Ramadan Mubarak from Tilda.
ना कुछ पूछा कुछ मांगा तूने दिल से दिया जो दिया ना कुछ बोला ना कुछ तोला मुस्कुरा के दिया जो दिया तू ही धूप तू ही छाया तू ही अपना पराया और कुछ ना बस इतना ही जानू तुझ में रब दिखता है यारा मैं क्या करूं तुझ में रब दिखता है यारा मैं क्या करूं सजदे सर झुकता है यारा मैं क्या करूं तुझ में रब दिखता है यारा मैं क्या करूं जोड़े
Tilda Ka Anokha song is brought to you by Tilda. From our signature pure basmati to exciting limited editions, discover Tilda's tasty range and get inspired by delicious recipes from around the world.
The personalities that matter with Keith Vaz on Talking Points.
Leica Radio.
Time's up for this week. I hope you enjoyed today's program. My thanks to Veena Ladwa and Reena Sadat for joining us today. Two very special and very important messages. from these two women. Special thanks to my producer, Rina, and of course, my editor, Adam. To end today's program, we'll be listening to Nachde Nesare, starring Siddharth Malhotra and Katrina Kaif. They've already had 229 million views on YouTube. Please stay tuned for the wonderful Sheena, who follows the news at 10 on Leica Radio, Britain's greatest Asian radio station. This has been Talking Points on Leica Radio with me, Keith Vaz, broadcasting from London. I hope you have a great Sunday.
ऑफ बीट है पर कुड़ियां दे नाल बहुत स्वीट है मुंडा थोड़ा ऑफ बीट है पर कुड़ियां दे नाल बहुत स्वीट है ढोंगी सा ये बड़ा ढीठ है वायरल हो गया ये ट्वीट
पर फूल वूल करने में कूल तू बड़ी तेज कटारी है शगन तेरी की लगन तेरी की हमने कर दी तैयारी है
नचते ने सारे रंग मिल के आज हिले डुल के ले सारे के सारे नजारे नचते ने सारे रंग मिल के आज हिले डुल के ले सारे के सारे नजारे खसमानो गाने आलू बड़े करारे करमना लालू बड़े करारे चढ़ चढ़ के चौबारे करमना स्वीटू आजा मारे आलू बड़े करारे करमना लालू बड़े करारे चढ़ चढ़ के चौबारे करमना स्वीटू आजा मारे मुंडे पेलेंटी मेरे लिए हो गए सेंटी तेरे लिए मैं सेट हूँ इस बात की गारंटी
पर फूल वूल करने में कूल तू बड़ी तेज कटारी है सहरा बांध के कूद फांद तुझे ले जाना इस बारी है
नचते ने सारे रंग मिल के आज हिले डुल के ले सारे के सारे नजारे नचते ने सारे रंग मिल के आज हिले डुल के ले सारे के सारे नजारे खसमानो खाने